What's up guys, Readiness Reviews here with you again, and in today's video we are doing an absolutely massive military surplus rifle unboxing. Usually we would take a look at one, maybe two rifles in one of these videos. In today's video we're going to be checking out 5 Milsurp rifles, and the best part is I picked up all 5 of these rifles for only $250. That's $50 a gun. The rifles in question are Ishapore No.1 Mark III Lee-Enfield DP rifles, something that we've checked out on the channel in the past, but never at these prices or in this quantity. Before we crack these boxes open to see what we have, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up to help it out with that Google algorithm. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of my future military surplus firearms content, and drop me a comment with any ideas that you might have for future videos you'd like to see from me. And let's crack into these boxes. Since we have a pretty ridiculous 5 rifles to get through, I figured the best way to go about doing this is going to be to remove each of the rifles from its box first and then go through the rifles individually. I picked these rifles up from Century Arms. As of the filming, they're still available to my knowledge. You might be wondering why in the world I would need 5 DP rifles. Well, for one thing, I do a lot of Enfield restorations. I have several Enfields that still need more restoration work, and so I can always use more parts. It's hard for me to imagine that these rifles won't be worth at least $50 a piece, just in parts alone. But I guess that's what we're going to attempt to find out in this video. Century packed these things really well, it seems. Tons of tape, individual boxes for each rifle, despite these rifles being very inexpensive. There's our very first nose cap. These are packed in heavy cosmoline. The bolts are packaged separately, so I guess I'll have to make sure that we put the right bolt in the right rifle. So it appears that each one of the rifles have its own individual cardboard wrap. That's a nice addition to prevent shipping damage, a measure that I wouldn't expect on such an inexpensive rifle. Let's get these cardboard wraps off. There's our rifle number 2. Already I can say I'm pleasantly surprised that magazines are included on these. On Century's listing of these particular DP rifles, they stated that the magazines are not guaranteed to be included. There's rifle number 3. Rifle number 4, and our 5th and final Enfield. The paint markings on this one are a little different than what I've seen on other rifles. Most of the ones I've seen have not had this front painted band. So here we are, all laid out. 5 rifles, $250. So magazines were not guaranteed on these rifles. The listing for these rifles said that they would have missing and damaged wood. They could possibly be missing their safety assembly or parts from the safety assembly, and the butt plates could possibly be missing on these rifles. I guess the best way to do this is just go rifle to rifle. So on my rifle number 1, the first one that I pulled out of the package, we have a super cosmoline soaked DP Enfield here. Rifle Ishapore No.1 Mark III 303 India, bolt drill purpose welded. So these rifles are considered firearms from the ATF, so you do either need a federal firearms license or CNR license to order these, but they are non-functionable drill purpose rifles that have been demilled. Although they're not functional, it doesn't mean that they're not a great source of parts or just a really cool wall hanger at the very least. Our first rifle here does have a safety assembly, but the safety switch itself that flips back and forth appears to have the top of it broken off. We are missing our rear handguard, but we have a full, complete front handguard with nose cap. However, the head on that screw is broken half. That might be a little bit of a problem. Sling swivel, sight wings. We do have a brass butt plate and our rear sling swivel. And this rifle does have its magazine, but unfortunately, we can see straight to the bottom there is no follower on this magazine. It's just an empty shell. That's not the best news, but at least we do still have the outer part of the magazine. That means if you wanted to repurpose that magazine, you could buy a spring and a follower and put it back into service. There's so much cosmoline on this rifle, it's hard to get a really good assessment of the wood condition, but on first glance here, I'm not seeing any major problems. No glaring cracks or anything. It looks like the forestock is in good shape. Looks like the buttstock is in good shape. And that front handguard being all in one complete piece is a big bonus for the value of this rifle. Just that one piece by itself can easily fetch $40 or $50 online. Enfield forestocks, the main stock piece here, I've seen for as high as $200 selling individually, but that is at least a $60 part, and this whole rifle was only $50. These DP rifles have proven to be a treasure trove for Enfield parts. Rifle number 2 here, again has the magazine body, but no follower and no spring. It does have a complete unbroken safety assembly, so that's good to see. This one has a complete butt plate with screws and buttstock, but the buttstock on this one is pretty severely cracked. I don't think this would be considered a usable part. The stock itself is even a little bit loose, because of that crack. The forestock, however, looks to be in good shape. We do have our front handguard. However, it's missing its little side tines. Rear handguard is unfortunately missing, but sight wings, sight, barrel band, sling loop. It has some kind of little wire and cloth wrapped on it. That's sort of interesting. Nose cap with all hardware. It looks to be in good shape too. Main action screw, trigger guard screw. The rear sling loop has seen better days. It is broken, but still hanging on with sort of a rigged cloth. Even with the broken buttstock, I think this rifle's probably still worth $50. Our third rifle, missing its rear handguard, completely missing the safety assembly. We do still have our butt plate though, and the buttstock on this one seems to be in good shape. Again, magazine body included, but no spring and no follower. This one has a full complete front handguard, but there's a little crack running through the tine on this one. That's not that hard of a repair to make though. We have done that here on the channel before. I will link that video right here if you want to check it out. We're missing our rear sling loop, but we have our middle band and its sling loop, and that actually looks to be in pretty good shape. The wood on this one looks really, really good. We can see some nice wood grain peeking through on this one, and I don't see any major blemishes or dings to speak of on the forestock. I think the wood on this rifle would clean up fantastic, and it would be a beautiful rifle. This one is a little bit different from the other ones in that the nose cap is the squared off variety. We can see those sharp edges. That's an indication of a later production rifle. These DP rifles can be made from pretty much any No.1 Enfield, all the way from a World War I Enfield to Enfields made post World War II. Unfortunately, we are missing the cross screw for this nose cap, but the bottom screw is included. Rifle number 4 is again missing the rear handguard. It is missing its complete safety assembly, has the magazine body, but no follower and no spring. Buttstock on this one looks to be in pretty much perfect shape. We have our rear sling loop, our brass butt plate, the action screws are accounted for, sight wings, rear sight, middle band with sling loop. Check out this tag, No.1 Enfield DP 303, $40. It is covered in gunk. I wonder how old that tag is. From the looks of this thing, I would say it has to be at least 20 years old, if not older than that. I'm delighted to once again see that we have our complete front handguard, and this one looks like it is in pretty darn perfect shape. Nose cap with all included hardware, and again the wood on the forestock of this one looks really, really nice. Under all that cosmoline, I think we will find a very handsome looking stock. And finally, we've made it to our 5th DP rifle here. Missing the full safety assembly, no follower or spring with the magazine. Missing the rear handguard. We do have a butt plate, however. So even though these rifles weren't guaranteed to have a butt plate, all 5 of my examples do have a butt plate. Buttstock looks like it's in good shape. Rear sling swivel. We have a front handguard, but it is missing the tines. Forestock looks like it's in really good shape. Do have a couple little scratches there. And we have our nose cap, front sight. We are missing the cross screw, but have the bottom screw. These rifles will be an absolute mess to clean up. They are super dirty, but I see so much value and potential in these DP rifles. I was a little bit afraid that I would have 5 boxes full of pure junk going by Century Arms' description of these rifles, but I cannot be happier than what I received. I have no doubt that I could part these rifles out and probably double or triple my money right now if I wanted to. There is absolutely no chance though that I'm going to be getting rid of any of these rifles anytime soon. Let's check out one of our bolts here. There are so many of these bolts, I don't think I can get through all of them in this video. This one is kind of interesting. This has an older style cocking piece, and I'm actually not seeing a DP mark on the bolt head or the bolt knob at all. So this particular bolt might not be a DP bolt at all. And if that's the fact, this is worth $60, $70 just by itself. Take a look at another one here. Now this one has the more characteristic cocking piece that I expect from these Ishapore rifles, our sort of later style. This one does have a prominent DP mark on the bolt knob there, but just like the other bolt, this one has a complete bolt head with our extractor. This one's coated in cosmoline. This other one is pretty dry and kind of rusty. See if we can insert this one into the rifle. Well, there it is, an inserted bolt. Pull our trigger here, see if it functions. Well, it dropped the sear, so that means that all of our trigger components work. I expect them to probably work across all 5 of these rifles because I haven't run into a DP rifle yet where they did not work. The receivers on all of these rifles have been drilled through though, and had a pin inserted and welded in through the chamber, so you cannot load ammunition into these rifles. I must say, I'm pretty stoked. I think this is a fantastic deal that Century has. To pick these up for 50 bucks a piece, I did have to order 5. Individually, I think they're more like 60, but hey, even at 60 bucks, these are a screaming deal. I'm gonna be sad when they're gone. I don't think I'll ever need another DP rifle for as long as I'm doing firearms restorations. But with that said, I'm actually tempted to go pick up another 5 of these rifles just to store up until they're worth a lot more money. If you want to see a more in-depth video of an individual DP rifle where I actually take it down and show all the components, I will link that for you right here. These are rifles we have checked out several times on the channel before. If you enjoyed this video, I would ask you to please give it a thumbs up. That helps us out with the algorithm and getting the video distributed out to other viewers. To see more military surplus firearm-centric content like this here on YouTube, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of my future videos. Drop me a comment letting me know what you thought about these 5 DP rifles and whether or not they're worth the money I invested. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I truly appreciate each and every viewer out there, and I will catch you in the next video. See you then. Peace.